Okay, hello everyone. So in this video, we'll be introducing our data analysis tool that will be used in our course, as well as the transatlantic slave voyages database that we'll be using for downloading this specific data file that you like to have. First of all, for our data analysis tool, it's got a StatCrunch, okay? Which you'll be able to see once you registered in the MyLab statistics. Okay, it requires you to purchase the access code for our 18-week use. Okay, and StatCrunch is a tool embedded in this MyLab statistics, and you're able to access to the left of this page. And on the right, you have your assignments that you need to complete weekly, most of times, okay, as a part of your homework grade. So once you get into the MyLab statistics after registration, you can click on the StatCrunch. It will open a page like this. And we'll just need to click on this the StatCrunch website. And we can open StatCrunch over here. Okay, let me clear my annotation. All right, so this is the main web page, okay, the main platform of the StatCrunch. It has a bunch of tools that we need to use for the data analysis. And you can see here is the data tab, which asks us to either manually enter 1, 2, 3 in a column, right? You can do this. But a lot of times we have a particular data to enter, so you'll be entering the data by using load and from file. Okay, it could be on my computer or on the web or from copy and paste. Anyway, okay, for our data, we'll be downloading them from the slavevoyages.org. So we'll need to move on to that website now. Okay, so here is the slavevoyages.org. Okay, you can just go and manually type in slavevoyages.org. And once you type that, you can see on the top, it has transatlantic, okay, and intra-American. Ours is mainly focused on the transatlantic slave trades. Okay, so you can just click on this drop-down menu and you can see the database. Well, this is a super big database. It records 36,149 entries of the slave voyages, okay, and that's definitely too big of a data set for us to do. So in your first assignment, you will be required to narrow down this database to a data set with only 100-year time limit. So what you can do is you can just hit the year range over here. The database records from 1514 to 1866, and we can just try to limit this to any 100-year time period. Suppose I'm doing 1600 to 1699. Okay, and you can just go ahead and apply. Once you do apply, you still have a bunch of data entries, which is almost 3,000, right? 365 entries. That's still too big. If you want to narrow more down, you can do so, okay, such as you can narrow down the flak vessels, okay, or you can also hit the itinerary and make sure where the itinerary would start, okay. So suppose I'm looking at the ships, right, okay, I'm looking at the voyage and vessels. I can also look at the flag vessels. Okay, flag vessels, suppose I'm interested in Spain, okay, as the flag. So go ahead and just click Spain, go up and then apply. And this will narrow down to 180 entries, which is much easier for us to check on, okay? So this is what I do, and you don't have to do the same as mine. Okay, you can definitely choose some other limitation for restriction. Restriction also can includes the itinerary where the vessel depart. Is it departing from Europe or Africa, where the captives were purchased? Okay, where the captives were landed, where the vessel voyages ended, or something about enslaved people, right? Purchase number to be greater than something or less than something, okay, which is purchased by the sex and age. Those are all things you can do a limitation on. You can also limit on the voyage duration to be between certain days, greater, less than, between, okay. Captain and a crew, if you know a particular captain names, you can also apply it. Outcome is also something you can look at. Particular outcome of the voyage. It could be completed as intended or actually shipwrecked, okay, unspecified, or captured by the pirates. So, okay, those different outcomes that you can explore. Okay, so I only put one limitation down, and that's what I currently have. Okay. So after you have filtered your entries, next we can work on the variables you want to put in your data set. Okay. So these are the ones that we have. You can configure columns. So each of the column is one of the variables, such as the principal place where captives were landed. This is one of the variable you can work on. And this can be done through configure columns. Okay. So configure columns is a way for you to filter the particular variables you want to have in your data set. Okay, so like these are individual variables. You arrived with slaves, but these are just some examples, right? In your first assignment, you will be asked to include some of the variables you must have. So this is done through configure columns. And I believe one of the variable is the date the voyage began. So just click on the dates and make sure you are choosing, okay, date vessels voyage began. So it will be included in this column as one variable. Also, it has asked you to include where the voyage began. Okay, so purchase place. So that's related to itinerary. Okay, it is this first column, first row, excuse me, it is the place where the vessel's voyage began. Okay, make sure you highlight that. Also, the principal region of slave purchase. Okay, so it's by default has been included in it already. If you want to include other variables, feel free to do so, such as the outcome. Okay, these are the variables to be included. Okay. Alrighty, and once you have successfully configured your columns, okay, you can try to download your data set. And this is where we go. We're going to be simply clicking Excel. Once you click Excel, we'll be having 4 options, all results. That's not what we want. We want to have filtered results. Okay, so filter results with visible columns or with all columns. Okay, all columns is talking about all of these being checked. Okay, that's too many. So you can just go visible columns for Excel and make sure those 3 variables are included, right? Okay, such as the place where the voyage began and the principal place where captives were purchased. Okay, and I believe there is also date vessels voyage began. Okay, so these 3 are included. And go ahead and just click filter results with visible columns. If you want to have all of those variables, you can check with all columns, but that's not necessary for our first assignment. So just click on this and you'll be seeing a data showing up in your download, right? And then go open that file, check to see if everything is correct. So when you open the file, it looks like this, okay? It's an Excel file and with a bunch of particular data values. And later on, we'll be importing this into the StatCrunch. Okay, so make sure you are able to locate this file. It might be in your download folder. Or you can just go ahead and create a new folder for this QLC course. Okay. Alrighty, and now we're going to go back to our StatCrunch over here. And once you got into StatCrunch, I'm going to go ahead, import the data. So you go ahead and click data and load from file. It's on my computer currently, and just simply browse your computer. Okay. My file has been in my download folder. If it's in your other folder, locate that particular folder and go ahead and click open. And it should have the data set name. You can change it to data analysis homework 1 as well, right? Okay, and upload. Okay, and once you have it uploaded, and then you have all of these, right, being included, and we can take a look at our data file. First of all, it does have 108 data entries as we indicated after the filters. And then it does have our, well, some of the columns are really narrow, so you can try to widen them. Okay, this column is port where the voyage began. And this is the principal place of slave purchase. Okay. If you think the name is hard for you to see, you can always try to rename the column. Okay, you can just say principal place of slave purchase. Okay, you can do that as well. So it'll be easier for you to read, right? All right, so that's what I currently have. Now, this is a data file with a bunch of particular vessels, and what we can do is we can take a look at the frequencies of one particular variable. So in the homework 1, we'll be interested in this variable principal place of slave purchase. All right, so I can just go to stat. And let's go to the tables, and we're going to construct a frequency distribution table. So go ahead and click on frequency. And the column we're interested in is principal place of slave purchase, and move it to here. And you can have frequency, relative frequency. You can also add other statistics in the output, such as cumulative frequency. Okay, but if you're only interested in a specific slave purchase, specific place of slave purchase, these two are good enough. Okay, and then just compute. So here is going to be the table for us, right? We can tell this is for principal place of slave purchase. And count of the data values are 108. And I have these frequencies listed here. Okay, that's for my data file. And this is what you need to get. And for options, you can go ahead, download or save this file. Okay, so save this file and paste that into your Word file for your homework. Okay, so those are some options you can do. You can say copy this and copy a graph, okay, based on the options. Anyway, you will need to attach this table in your first homework for the data analysis. All right, so that's option. And let me close this. It will be back into here as one of your results. Okay. In addition to create a frequency distribution, we also need to get a bar chart. Okay, so that's constructed by the bar graph under the graph. So click bar plot, and with data, again, just choose that principal place of slave purchase. And we don't need to do anything else as of now. Okay, and just go ahead and hit compute. So this is what I have. Okay, it gets us different locations and their particular frequencies. Okay, so that will be also need to be copied and pasted in your homework number 1 write-up. Alrighty, so you can always retrieve your results in this upper left corner results. There are 2 results. You can always come back to them. And make sure you can save your results, okay, for later use, okay, for future reference, right? And also make sure you save your data, which is the original .xls file I was referring to that you download directly from the slavevoyage.org, okay. Alrighty, so that's about our first video tutorial about the data analysis tool in StatCrunch.